She watched you walk away. She did not stop you. She did not call your name. She did not send the message you secretly hoped would arrive before you reached the door. And in that moment, you assumed her silence gave you the final answer. You told yourself that if she truly cared, she would have fought for you. If she valued the connection, she would have asked you to stay. If losing you frightened her, she would never have allowed you to leave so calmly. But human emotion does not always arrive on time. Sometimes people understand the value of a presence only after that presence becomes unavailable. Sometimes pride speaks before honesty. Sometimes relief appears before grief. Sometimes a person lets someone leave because they believe the door will remain open. And sometimes the moment she realizes you are no longer waiting is the moment your absence becomes impossible to ignore. That does not mean she is guaranteed to return. It does not mean she is secretly obsessed with you. It does not mean every story view, indirect post, or mutual friends comment proves she wants another chance. She may think about you and still believe the relationship should remain over. She may miss you and remain unable to offer anything healthy. She may carry unresolved feelings while continuing with her life. But if you walked away calmly, stopped chasing, and removed the attention she had come to expect, something important may have changed inside her experience. The loss became real. And before this video ends, you will understand why someone can let you leave and think about you more afterward, what may happen when guaranteed access disappears, which signs may reveal genuine reflection, and how to respond if she returns without sacrificing the dignity you rebuilt. You will also understand the mistake that destroys most men when the message finally arrives. Because the greatest danger is not that she never thinks about you. The greatest danger is that she does, reaches out, and you immediately become the same man she was willing to lose. First, understand why she may have let you walk away. It may not have been because you meant nothing. Maybe the final stage of the relationship had become exhausting. The conversations kept repeating. You wanted clarity. She wanted space. You tried to pull her closer. She became more distant. The more uncertain she became, the more effort you gave, the more pressure she felt. By the time you finally stepped back, she may have associated your presence with tension rather than peace. So when you left, her first emotion may have been relief. That is difficult to hear. You want to imagine that she immediately felt the full pain of losing you, but if the connection had become filled with emotional questioning, repeated explanations, jealousy, or constant attempts to repair everything, the initial silence may have felt lighter. She no longer had to answer another long message. She no longer had to explain why her energy changed. She no longer felt responsible for calming your fear. Relief does not always mean the relationship was meaningless. It can mean the dynamic had become emotionally heavy. And this is where most men make the wrong move. They see her acting fine. They notice she is not contacting them. They watch her post normally, then panic tells them the silence is failing, so they return. Another message, another explanation, another attempt to reopen a conversation she was not ready to have. They interrupt the space before reality has time to speak. Do not do that. If she felt relief, let her experience relief, because when the immediate pressure fades, the mind may begin separating the difficult ending from the entire history of the connection. The final argument becomes quieter, the defensive emotions lose intensity, and memories that were buried beneath conflict can begin returning. Not because silence is magic, because emotional distance can change what a person notices. She may remember the way you made her laugh when she was stressed, the conversations that lasted longer than either of you intended, the way you noticed a change in her mood before she explained it, the small routines that felt ordinary because they happened so often, the places connected to your presence, the private language only the two of you understood. She may remember how safe it felt to speak without carefully choosing every word. These memories may arrive unexpectedly, a familiar road, a particular time of night, a meal you used to order, a song playing in the background, a phrase someone else uses, a difficult day when she instinctively thinks about telling you what happened. The mind does not always miss people through dramatic moments. Sometimes it notices them through empty spaces in ordinary life. That is when your absence may begin feeling different. At first, the silence removed pressure. Later, the silence may reveal what your presence provided. She may have believed that because you cared deeply, you would eventually return. Maybe you always had before. After every disagreement, you contacted her. When she became distant, you tried harder. When she stopped initiating, you carried the communication. Whenever the connection approached an ending, you found another reason to keep it alive. Without intending to, you may have taught her that losing you was almost impossible. She did not need to make a clear decision because your attention remained available. She could ask for space and still expect you to check in. She could become cold and still receive reassurance. She could say she was uncertain while knowing you were emotionally certain about her. Then you finally stopped. Not for one evening. Not as a test, not to make her panic. You genuinely stepped away. The morning message did not come. You did not react to the post. You did not ask mutual friends what she was doing. You did not send a paragraph after midnight. You did not create an indirect message designed for her to notice. The pattern she understood disappeared. That is when curiosity may begin. Why has he not contacted me? Did he finally become tired? Has he accepted the ending? Is he speaking to someone else? Did I push him further than I intended? Was that really the last time we would speak? Curiosity can make someone think about you, but do not confuse curiosity with love. She may wonder about you because the familiar pattern changed. She may miss your attention without being ready to rebuild. She may dislike losing access without being willing to meet your needs. Your disappearance can affect her ego without changing her emotional maturity. That is why you cannot treat every reaction as evidence that she wants you back. Your goal is not to become an expert at decoding hidden emotions. Your goal is to become disciplined enough to wait for clear behavior because a person can think about you constantly and still offer you nothing healthy. Thinking is private. Relationships require action. Now, another process may begin inside her mind. Comparison. This does not necessarily mean she immediately compares you with another man. She may compare her current emotional life with the life she experienced when you were present. She may notice that nobody asks the same questions, nobody remembers the small details, nobody understands certain parts of her history. She may have more freedom but less familiarity, more quiet but less emotional support, more attention from new people but less depth. This does not mean you were perfect. It does not mean every new connection will disappoint her. It means people often recognize certain qualities through contrast. What was once predictable begins to look valuable when it is no longer available. Your consistency may have felt ordinary because it was always present. Your patience may have been overlooked because you gave it freely. Your emotional availability may have become expected instead of appreciated. Then life without those things creates contrast. But do not sit around hoping everyone she meets fails her. That is not healing, that is revenge disguised as patience. Your worth does not increase because another man disappoints her. And if she enters another relationship, you must respect that boundary. Do not become the secret conversation. Do not become the person she calls after arguing with him. Do not provide emotional intimacy while she gives commitment somewhere else. If she contacts you while she is involved with someone, you can remain respectful and clear. I care about you, but I am not going to be part of this while you are in another relationship. Then step away, no competition, no attack, no triangle. If she genuinely wants to reconsider her future with you, she must first become honest and available. You are not a backup plan, you are not emotional insurance, and you do not prove your value by waiting in the background for someone else's relationship to collapse. Now, another reason she may think about you is that your calm departure left the story unfinished. She expected anger. Maybe she expected you to argue. Maybe she expected another attempt to convince her. Maybe she thought you would tell her she was making the worst mistake of her life, but instead you accepted the decision. You may have said, I care about you, but I cannot keep carrying this alone. Then you left. A calm ending can stay in someone's mind because it removes the drama that would have made blaming you easier. If you attack her, she can focus on your anger. If you beg, she can focus on your desperation. If you create jealousy, she can focus on your immaturity. But when you communicate honestly and leave without cruelty, she is left with the decision itself. She can no longer tell herself that she needed to escape your chaos. There is no dramatic villain. Only the reality that she allowed a meaningful person to disappear that may create questions. Was I too certain? Did I misunderstand him? Did I expect him to keep chasing? Did I take his effort for granted? Would things have been different if I had communicated earlier? These questions may become stronger when she sees that you are not trying to force an answer from her. But again, questions are not accountability. Regret is not readiness. Someone can question a decision without developing the skills needed to build a healthier relationship. She may miss you while remaining avoidant. She may regret losing your support while refusing to examine how she contributed to the ending. She may want another chance without being prepared to behave differently. That is why her return cannot be the only thing you evaluate. You must evaluate the quality of the return. Does she contact you clearly? Does she explain what she has reflected on? Does she accept responsibility without turning everything into your fault? Does she want to discuss what would need to change? Does she remain consistent after she learns that you still care? Those signs matter more than emotional words spoken during a lonely evening. Now imagine a man named Adrian. Adrian was in a relationship where he became responsible for almost every moment of connection. He planned the dates. He started the conversations. He apologized first after every disagreement. Whenever she became distant, he asked what he had done wrong. She rarely had to wonder whether he cared. He proved it constantly. Over time, his care stopped feeling valuable because it became guaranteed. When she said she was uncertain about the relationship, Adrian did what he had always done. He tried harder. He wrote a long message explaining why they should not give up. She responded politely but without commitment. He sent another, then another. Eventually, he looked at himself and realized he was trying to persuade someone to participate in a relationship with him. So he stopped. He told her, I care about you, but I cannot continue proving myself while you remain undecided. I respect your choice, and I am stepping away. Then he left. The first week was brutal. He checked his phone constantly. He imagined she felt relieved. He wanted to send something casual so the connection would not completely disappear, but he did not. Not because he wanted to manipulate her, because he had finally understood that another message could not create mutual effort. 3 weeks later, she contacted him. I've been thinking about you. The old Adrian would have responded immediately with everything he felt. He would have said he had been thinking about her too. He would have asked to see her that night. He would have treated the message as proof that all his waiting had been rewarded. But this Adrian paused. He asked himself a better question. Has she returned with clarity, or has she returned because my absence became uncomfortable? So he replied calmly, I appreciate you telling me. What have you been thinking about? That question changed the conversation. It did not punish her, it required substance. She could not remain hidden behind a vague emotional message. She had to explain what she wanted. That is how you must respond, not with coldness, with clarity, because when someone says, I can't stop thinking about you, the sentence may be sincere, but it is not yet a plan. She could be lonely, nostalgic, guilty, curious, disappointed by something else. She could miss your comfort, or she could have genuinely realized that she wants to rebuild. You do not decide which one through hope. You learn through conversation and time. If she says, I miss you, you can respond, I miss parts of what we shared too. What are you hoping happens now? If she says, I think I made a mistake, you can say, what made you see the situation differently? If she says, can we go back to how we were? You can say, going back would recreate the same problems. I would only consider moving forward if we understand what must change. These responses are not tactics. They protect both people from turning emotional relief into another cycle because reconnection feels powerful. The moment her name appears, the pain may temporarily disappear. You feel chosen again. You feel important. The rejection seems reversed. And that relief can make you ignore every lesson the separation taught you. You return immediately. You become fully available. You stop training. You neglect your work. You abandon the standards that helped you regain control. The relationship receives the old version of you because you were so desperate to recover the old connection. Then the same imbalance returns. She feels secure again. Her effort decreases. You notice the change. You begin chasing. Nothing was repaired. The silence only created enough emotional intensity to restart the pattern. Do not let that happen. Trust must grow at the speed of evidence, not at the speed of your relief. If she genuinely wants to rebuild, she will understand why you are moving carefully. She will not demand that one apology erase every inconsistency. She will contribute to the conversation. She will ask about your experience. She will respect boundaries. She will continue showing effort after she knows the door is not completely closed. That last part matters. Some people become highly interested when they fear losing access. Once access returns, their interest fades. Do not measure change while she is afraid of losing you. Measure shit after she feels secure that you still care. Does the effort remain? Does communication improve? Does she follow through? Does she address problems instead of disappearing? That is where genuine change becomes visible. Now, there are certain behaviors that may suggest she is thinking about you. She repeatedly finds small reasons to contact you. She brings up memories without being prompted. She asks detailed questions about your life. She becomes emotionally affected when she realizes you are moving forward. She admits that your absence feels different from what she expected. She takes responsibility for taking your presence for granted. She asks for a direct conversation rather than communicating through hints. But no single sign proves she wants a relationship. A story view is not reconciliation. A like is not accountability. A sad song is not communication. A mutual friend saying she asked about you is not commitment. A late night I miss you is not changed behavior. Do not build certainty from ambiguous evidence. When you are emotionally attached, your mind can turn everything into a sign. She watches your story, so you believe she misses you. She avoids your story, so you believe she is protecting herself because she misses you. She posts happily, so you believe she is pretending. She posts something emotional, so you believe it's about you. She contacts you, so you believe she's returning. She stays silent, so you believe pride is stopping her. Do you see the problem? When every behavior supports the same conclusion, you are not observing reality, you are defending hope. Hope without evidence can keep a man trapped longer than rejection. Ask yourself, what do I actually know? You know whether she contacted you directly. You know whether she clearly expressed what she wants. You know whether she became available. You know whether her behavior became consistent. Everything else remains interpretation. Do not make permanent decisions based on temporary interpretations. Now, let us talk about the late night moment. During the day, you may feel strong, you work, you train, you remind yourself that walking away was necessary. Then night arrives. The world becomes quieter. You remember the way she looked at you before everything changed. You remember the beginning instead of the ending. You wonder whether she is lying awake thinking about you too. You open her profile. You check whether she is online. You see something ambiguous, and your mind begins building a story. Maybe she is waiting for me. Maybe she thinks I stopped caring. Maybe one message would unlock everything. You open the conversation. You type, I've been thinking about you. Before you send it, ask yourself why. Are you communicating something necessary, or are you asking her to remove your anxiety? Would you still send the message if you knew she might ignore it? Would you remain stable if she answered coldly? If the answer is no, you are not reaching out from clarity. You are reaching for relief. And relief borrowed from her response will disappear the next time her energy changes. Dim the message. Put the phone away, walk, drink water, route what you feel privately. Pray if faith is part of your life, lie safe before making an emotional decision. The urge will rise, then it will fall. You are capable of feeling something without obeying it. You can miss her without contacting her. You can wonder what she thinks without investigating. You can love someone and still respect their decision. You can hope for reconciliation without placing your life on hold. That is emotional control. Now, here is your 7 day reset. For 7 days, do not message her from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends whether she mentions you. Do not post something designed to provoke jealousy. Do not reread old conversations after midnight. Do not examine every song, caption, or photograph for hidden meaning. Do not make serious decisions when you are lonely, angry, or exhausted. For 7 days, put your energy into your body, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and identity. Train consistently, but do not punish yourself. Eat properly. Clean your environment. Complete one responsibility you have avoided. Set one financial target. Reduce your screen time. Put the phone away before sleeping. Plan the following day. Don't create structure where emotion has created chaos. On the first day, remove unnecessary triggers. Mute her profile if checking has become a habit. You do not need to make a dramatic announcement. Protect your attention quietly. On the second day, write down the complete truth about the relationship, not only the beautiful memories, not only the painful ending. What worked? What failed? What did she contribute? What did you contribute? What would need to change before another attempt could become healthy? On the third day, return to your physical discipline. Move your body. Heartbreak creates mental energy that needs somewhere constructive to go. Do not train to make her regret leaving. Train to recover authority over yourself. On the fourth day, rebuild your work. Finish something difficult. Every hour spent studying her silence is an hour removed from your future. Return that hour to yourself. On the fifth day, define your standards. Would you accept unclear communication again? One sided effort, disappearing after conflict, being treated as an option? What behavior of your own must never return? Jealousy, over explaining, emotional dependence, weak boundaries, write the answers. On the sixth day, reconnect with a part of life that existed before her, a friend, a goal, a skill, a responsibility. Your identity must become larger than the relationship you lost. On the seventh day, make one promise you will keep for the next 30 days: a training routine, a work schedule, a sleep rule, a financial goal, a boundary around social media. Self trust returns through promises kept under emotional pressure. This reset is not designed to make her think about you more. It is designed to stop your life from being controlled by whether she thinks about you at all. That is the turning point, because the question, is she thinking about me, can become another form of emotional dependence. You may stop contacting her physically while chasing her mentally. You imagine her regret, you predict the message, you rehearse how you will respond. You keep living inside her mind instead of returning to your own life. Real walking away is not only the absence of messages, it is the decision to stop making her internal world the center of your future. She may think about you, she may not, she may realize your value, she may confirm that leaving was right. You cannot control the conclusion, but you can control whether the uncertainty destroys your direction. Rebuild your body because strength improves how you carry pain. Rebuild your money because your future needs options. Rebuild your routine because undisciplined days make memories louder. Strengthen your faith or guiding principles because romantic attention is too unstable to become the foundation of identity. Rebuild your relationships with family and friends. A romantic connection becomes dangerously powerful when it is your only source of meaning. Create several foundations: health, purpose, work, brotherhood, faith, responsibility. Then losing one part of your life hurts deeply without destroying the entire structure. Now ask yourself an uncomfortable question. Do you want her to think about you because you genuinely believe the relationship could become healthy? Or do you want proof that she regrets letting you leave? Do you miss her character? Or do you miss being wanted by her? Would you take her back if absolutely nothing about the dynamic had changed? Or are you imagining a wiser, more available version of her that has not appeared? Sometimes a man does not want reconciliation. He wants the rejection reversed. He wants her to return and say, I was wrong. He believes those words will restore his confidence. But confidence given by another person can be removed by another person. Even if she returns, your fear will reappear the next time she becomes distant unless you build stability within yourself. You need confidence she cannot provide and cannot take away. Confidence built through discipline, through standards, through honest self examination, through accepting reality without begging reality to change. That is the man you must become. Now, what if she never contacts you? What if she thinks about you but remains silent? What if she remembers the relationship and still chooses not to return? Your life must continue. He feelings cannot create a relationship. Private regret cannot provide commitment. Unspoken love cannot build trust. You need communication, availability, consistency, mutual effort. Do not fall in love with what you believe she secretly feels while ignoring what she openly chooses. That is how men lose years. She may care, she may miss you, she may think about you every night. But if she does not choose to communicate and participate, you must accept the behavior, not because the emotions were fake. Because emotions alone are not enough. A healthy relationship requires two people willing to turn feelings into responsible action. If she remains gone, do not interpret that as proof that you were worthless. Her decision is information about one connection. It is not a final measurement of you as a man. You still have experiences ahead of you, skills you have not built, people you have not met, a version of yourself you have not become. Do not bury all of that beneath one person's silence. And do not become bitter. Do not decide every woman will take you for granted. Do not punish the next person because this person let you leave. Do not become emotionally unavailable and call it strength. That is not healing. That is pain wearing armor. A mature man learns without destroying his ability to love. He remains warm, but he becomes selective. He remains loyal, but only where loyalty is mutual. He remains emotionally open, but he no longer hands another person responsibility for his identity. He can communicate without begging. He can forgive without ignoring patterns. He can walk away without revenge. That is strength. So she let you walk away. Maybe she thought you would return. Maybe she felt relief before she felt loss. Maybe she underestimated how much your presence had become part of her life. Maybe ordinary moments now bring your memory back. Maybe comparison has shown her qualities she once overlooked. Maybe your calm departure left her questioning the decision. Maybe she cannot stop thinking about you. Or maybe she has accepted the ending. You do not need to guess. Let her behavior speak. If she reaches out with clarity, listen. If she takes responsibility, observe consistency. If she returns only for reassurance, protect your access. If she is with someone else, refuse the triangle. If she remains confused, do not become her waiting room. If she never returns, continue building. Because the deepest truth is this: she may think about the man who walked away, but the real victory is becoming the man who no longer needs to live inside her thoughts. You walked away because remaining would have required you to abandon yourself. Do not return to that position simply because she finally notices the space you left behind. Let her thoughts become actions. Let her words become consistency. Let her regret become accountability. Until then, keep moving. And in the next video, you will learn what her first message after your departure actually means and how to tell whether she wants a genuine second chance or only wants reassurance that you are still emotionally available.